Database accessed. Establishing uplink.
I'd be remiss if I didn't take time to mention all the major players in Manhattan. The story wouldn't be complete without proper attention to its characters, whether they be friend or foe to the Division. I won't dig too deep into everyone we'll cover, but anything I don't go over should be available in Agent Intel archives. Fei Lau, Second Wave Division agent, described in her personnel notes as being a keen observer, fiercely loyal and pragmatic. She lost her parents in a car crash and was left to raise her sister, Heather Lau, who we tracked after she went missing, as a favor to Fei. Turns out she was okay largely to her swinging the guitar, just as good as she played one. Fei was thrust into a leadership role when Northeast Division Commander Louis Chang, who I didn't really know beyond a few transmissions, was killed on a convoy headed for Manhattan. Fei, however, survived the attack. Despite losing an eye, getting a bum leg, her spirit and her fight remained unfazed. She stepped in when and where she was needed. She acted as our handler, getting us intel, strategizing our missions, as well as helping us eventually fortify and upgrade a base of operations from basically nothing. Fei really cares about what happens to the city, which is why when almost all was lost to the factions and JTF morale was non-existent, she came up with the shrewdest of plans I could ever think of. That, however, is for another time. Dr. Jessica Kendall, an expert in virology, she had been working with the JTF and Sarah, taking care of general medical needs along with a small crew at a field hospital in Madison Square Garden, which is where we found her and rescued her. Afterwards, she agreed to help build up our base's medical facilities, and when she gets there, she pretty much goes into complaining mode at the status of the base of operations. Perhaps rightfully so, but she went on and on about us having old equipment and tons of sick folk, but not nearly enough helpers to assist her. It's only when Fei lets her in on what Sarah was able to find out about the virus, and it being most likely the handiwork of a Dr. Gordon Amherst, that she rather quickly changed her tune. Almost immediately afterwards, she gets motivated and starts tasking us with retrieving virus samples and the like, so she could get to work on the vaccine. The lady is tough and intelligent, and was the primary reason we got the medical wing up to a serviceable condition, and also why we were able to properly harvest antibodies that she packaged to send off to a specialist lab in Ann Arbor, which I'll keep as a side note for now. In short, Dr. Kendall was indispensable in any strides we made to combat the virus. Paul Rhodes, ever the eccentric, he would at times seem pretty interested in investigating several of his conspiracy theories about what happened to our Directive 51 response plan and why it went so bad with the first wave of agents. He seems pretty angry that we would be given that much of a loose rein without anyone, in essence, to answer to. I'm not sure if his cynicism is a mechanism for dealing with having lost his wife a while back, and if digging into some of the conspiracy stuff is a means to redirect his thoughts. But the guy can sure come off as paranoid. But I would never confuse that with him being dumb. He's a grade A engineer who served some time as a contractor for a private military company. Now, working with the JTF, when the guy sees a job needed to be done, he gets it done, no matter the risk. Manhattan wouldn't be a glimmer of its former self if Rhodes didn't help our cause by rebuilding our technology wing and handing off any efforts to keep the power on, supply lines flowing, and communications network open. All his doubts and dislike of the division aside, in the end, I'd like to think he came to understand why we needed to be here. Captain Roy Benitez, former narcotics police officer who took up the leadership mantle for the Joint Task Force, he wasn't too happy with working with federal agents when we first ran into him, but he welcomed the thought of having extra help to shift the balance of power between the troublemakers in New York and the good guys like the JTF and Sarah. I appreciated how Benitez let us know early on what his main objective was: to clear out the surrounding neighborhoods from the various factions so that first responders could have a clear path to set up field tents throughout Manhattan, to deliver food, and medical aid to civilians. He initially thought we need a heck of a lot more agents to accomplish this task. He either wasn't privy to our actual numbers, or didn't know how good we were. Underestimation aside, his efforts in maintaining our security wing is undeniable. His strategies in the take-back of Manhattan, along with Faye, were pretty genius. He's a by-the-books, headstrong, and dedicated idealist who just always does the right thing. You wouldn't know the guy lost his wife in this mess. I have a few dishonorable mentions, like Dr. Gordon Amherst, who created the virus and put us in this mess. And the ever-elusive Aaron Keener, first wave division agent, who by our accounts is the first rogue, or perhaps the most important one. I'll probably fill in some info on him as we go along. Looks like I'm gonna have to continue this conversation at a later time, Agent. I'm off to do my rounds. End entry.